So hopefully all goes well today, provided my hecklers aren't too much for everyone. So, as I've said before, I am honored to be your district governor. The purpose, my job, really all my purpose is to be your liaison, your representative, and try to help you as best as I can from a district standpoint as that person who represents you, your club, to Rotary International. Okay, so I'd like starting off my meeting each time with a quote, and today's comes from Father Gus Tolton. So Father Tolton was the very first African American priest in the United States, born in the United States. Give us the courage to build what others may one day benefit from, even if we never see the fullness of it ourselves. I think that's what Rotary stands for. I ask each Rotarian to think about, as I'm talking today, think about your why. Why are you in Rotary? What is your purpose? When we know our purpose, it certainly becomes more meaningful and certainly allows us to create lasting impact. So, for example, you guys do your flag program. So, what do you do it for? It's a fundraiser. It's your Rotary Club. Why? Why do we do it? Okay? That is your purpose. You guys raise funds, scholarships. You send additional money out for your community. Would your community notice if it wasn't done? Absolutely. So I want that to continue to be your focus where we do create lasting impact. So the other thing we'll talk about a little bit today is increasing membership. It's a problem in the States, and I'll show you why here a little bit later on. But the truth is, in membership, nobody joins Rotary because we tell them that we need new members. Okay? Nobody's inspired by hearing that. Okay? However, if you teach them your why, if they know your purpose, they will want to be a part of something where we are creating lasting impact. Okay? Go ahead. So that's our motto for this year, in case you didn't see the banner here. And I share that with the one from 1928, the convention in Minneapolis. Service above self. Everybody knows that's the traditional motto of Rotary, and that has not changed. I put that up there because 2 years from now, in 2028, the convention is going to be returning to Minneapolis. So I'll give you guys the opportunity. You guys certainly can volunteer and go up there and work that convention also if you want to. So. A little bit about me for those of you that I don't know. Start up on the upper left. That's my family there. My daughter Tara, my eldest. She is getting married on Saturday. So
we'll pray for you.
So yes, so I'm about to write my last check and.
Here, brother.
Right, don't leave. I need that card. I've got my mother-in-law Judy in here, and I'll kind of share with you why she's in there. My wife Jill, daughter Shay, my son Matthew. Matthew is the youngest. He is a recent graduate of the University of Arkansas. Happy to say he is in his own apartment. He's got a full-time job. He's out on his own. Everybody's off the payroll officially after this weekend. So, Jill and I were there last month in Taipei. We were there for the international convention along with 37,000 Rotarians. So the largest international convention in over 20 years. Great attendance. I'll tell you, if you guys think that Houston is hot and humid in the summertime, it has absolutely nothing on Southeast Asia. I'll tell you, it was absolutely brutal. It's funny, my wife would walk out every morning, she'd go, take a good look at my hair, honey, because this is the best it's gonna look all day. So, in the bottom left-hand corner, here we are meeting up with RI President Yinka Babalola. Yinka is from Nigeria, very interesting man. He's there with his wife, Cressy. I'll talk a little bit more about him. Jill is over here in the bottom right-hand corner. Somehow she has become the lead guitarist for the district. This is on the district cruise a year ago. And just by showing up, I guess Past District Governor Regina saw her music videos that she does, and so she wanted her on the cruise, and she played the music at each of the events we had during that conference. but along with the cruise, it has since cost me 2 additional new guitars. So, and then there's my 3 favorite kids, right there in the middle. So Amy mentioned that we do boxer rescue. Yeah, we started out as fosters and we failed, and we just keep adding new dogs. But I like them because they're always happy whenever I get home. Go ahead. All right. So there's a spousal project. If those of you who've been around for a long time remember when the governor used to come visit, it was always a kind of a 2-day ordeal. So, Wyman, you may remember this. The governor would come the night before, you go to dinner with a spouse. The spouse would always receive like a hot plate or something, some kind of a gift, a book or whatever it may be. You know, and then finally, I think they all said, you know, there's only so many of these that I really need, and so they came up with a spousal project. So every year that spousal project changes, and so my wife Jill's project is the Senior Source, and I mentioned that because her mom was in that very first picture. Well, Jill and past district owner Mary got to know each other pretty well last year because I think their moms were at the hospital really the last 2 years about 5 times at the same time. So through various falls, illnesses, etc., were things that my wife was dealing with her mother. And anybody that has dealt with this, whether it's a spouse or whether a parent who's going through you know, issues that we all go through, the Senior Source is very helpful to her in finding some home health care to come in and look after her mom. The other thing that I've been involved with the Senior Source on is financial integrity, fraud prevention, and so forth. And so I did a program with them last month. I brought in 5 different insurance agents. We talked about Medicare, we talked home insurance, making sure that essentially they had the right coverages and so forth. And so the Senior Source has been there since '61 and have helped thousands and thousands of seniors in not just Dallas County, but all of North Texas. Last weekend, we went out and distributed over 900 air conditioners and fans to seniors in need. So I can't imagine anybody trying to live somewhere without air conditioning this time of year. And absolutely had a blast. We were down in Oak Cliff at Tyler Street Church and buzzed through almost 1,000 people to get those air conditioners in their car, and it was a fun deal. So go ahead. So my 2 governor's aides, Amy, you probably have been inundated with information from Jerica the last month. So Jerica handles all my scheduling, everything we do from a district standpoint, all the meetings and so forth. I share with Diana. She's got membership meetings set up each month, Zoom calls and so forth. So she arranges all these different activities that we have going on. Vicki has also been around the district. She does all our events, and she was kind enough to jump in and get everything worked out. She and my wife are working on another program for the Senior Source now, where sometime in September they're hosting a meeting. What they're doing is handing out clocks. I think they've got a goal of 75 clocks that show whether it's not just AM or PM, but show whether it's daytime or nighttime. Because what she has found in dealing with Senior Source, so many of the seniors, like say they fall asleep in their chair, they wake up and say they wake up at 7 o'clock. They're thinking they woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's 7 o'clock p.m. So what these clocks will actually show, there's a moon or there's a sun to let them know that essentially it's morning or nighttime and so forth. So you know, it's difficult for them to distinguish this time of year. So I mentioned Yinka and his wife Pressy before. I got to meet them for the first time in January. They will actually be here this weekend down in Pflugerville at the RMDTI. So that's Rotary Multi-District Training Institute. We send all our up-and-coming officers to this training. And as I mentioned, I won't be there this time, but I have gone the last 3 years to this program. But Yinka will be the key speaker, and his motto, as I shared with you, is great lasting impact. And really he puts his goal out there is, what do we want to accomplish together? So I've talked to Amy about this. I've talked to all the incoming presidents for this year about, you know, do you want your year to be known as you're just a caretaker, or are we going to make something happen? So you guys, I can actually say you guys make things happen. I love your flag program. I love what you do for the veterans. I love, the fact you send kids to RILA each year, and you're doing things, and I just want you to keep growing so we continue here for another 100+ years. The other one that I share is your club, Amoeba Club. And so there's a lot of clubs that are. So has anybody heard that expression before? That came from past District Governor Gilbert Brown, who was my mentor in Rotary. Gilbert it just stuck with me for 20 years plus. He was there the year that was Rotary's 100th anniversary. Amoeba Club, he shared with me, so it means meet, eat, bourbon, adjourn. That's all we do. And unfortunately, there's a lot of clubs that do that. They'll just get together with breakfast or lunch, but don't really do anything to distinguish themselves as anything more than that. So I'm very appreciative of what you guys do here at Commerce Rotary. So, after YACO, we'll come back to the United States and have our next RI president will be Larry Lunsford. Larry is over the Rotary Polio program. He is from Kansas City, one of the nicest men I've ever met. He is instrumental, as I said, with the new program that's going on with polio. So if you know anything about the inoculations, and you guys probably heard, 99% of this polio has been eliminated in the world, but it's still going on in the last two countries, which is Pakistan and Afghanistan. And we're hoping with this new inoculation series, which is not a needle, it's actually a pressure point and go up, and it's entered via air. So there's no needle being shown to any of these kids and so forth. So hopefully we can get this done and essentially get polio knocked out once and for all. And our local rep from a district standpoint is Tom Gump. So Tom was my trainer the last couple of years. He will be RI president probably within the next 6 to 8 years. It's great to have somebody that we know he's in Minnesota. He is actually originally from Georgia, loves coming to Texas. He'll be in this weekend as well, be one of the keynote speakers down there. But I am actually bringing him back to Dallas. He's going to do a program on membership at one of the Saturday morning meetings that we have. I did mention to you about the convention coming back to Minneapolis. Next year's convention will be in Barcelona. So if you'd like to go to Spain, you want to be there, it'll be a great place to be last weekend or last week in June. And then the following year, if you are interested at all, pretty simple, just get your name on the list, RI 2028 volunteer at Gmail. Okay, so hopefully we have a nice attendance from our district going up to Minneapolis in 2 years. Our first big event we're going to have, which will be World Polio Day, October 24th. We are part of a group hosting the world's largest polio walk. So that morning at 10 o'clock, Brookhaven College, we will all be walking there along with thousands of other Rotarians around the world who are going to be walking also in their particular district at 10 o'clock in support of money going to the polio fund. So we are, as I said, just 2 countries away from getting this done. The goal is that we raise at least $25,000 on that Saturday morning. So hopefully you guys can come down. If you don't want to come down, maybe do another walk here the same morning and up in this area. And that would be awesome if we could get some good attendance here up in this part of our district also. Right. So here's our district, 5810. You can see us in the yellow up top. We are one of 7 districts in our zone in Texas. There's 9 total, including the Northeast, and then going out the West covers our other 2 districts. But ours is the smallest geographic area. You guys are probably my furthest drive that I have to make, which is not too bad. I guess either here or maybe heading down to Midlothian. So not too far, really to head around. My counterpart in Russia, she covers that whole entire country and has to visit every club. And she said, I only have 4 I can drive to, so she gets on a plane and goes to all these other places. So I'm very honored that I only have to drive, an hour or so to come up here. But here's what I wanted to mention to you. So currently, our Zone 25B, we pair up with the Great Lakes region, which is actually heads north from Kansas all the way up to the Canadian border and covers Chicago, Minnesota, etc. That's all part of our same group. We are being shipped off next year as Zone 31, and we are going to be matched up with another zone out of India. So, yeah, I've got question marks about that too. And Diana, you look very confused about that also. So, as we get smaller, as our clubs get smaller, our number of Rotarians get smaller, districts get combined. That's part of what's going on around our country. Texas becomes that kind of ball that's getting punted around a little bit. So, while we are getting a little bit smaller, East Coast, West Coast go and adapt and bring in more members by taking geographical area. They don't know what to do with us. At the same time, India is growing. That's where the biggest part of India and Africa are the two biggest growing areas for us right now. So they have districts there that need to be matched up with something else, and so somehow right now Texas has become that punted piece to match up with them. So how do we combat it? Well, we need to continue to add more members. Go ahead. So a little bit about us. We were established as a district 1911. Of course, our very first club began that year, which was the Dallas Club, and you guys were not too far behind. We have 63 clubs, including a new club, the Greater Red Oak Club that I just chartered last week with 2 weeks ago with 19 new members. I mentioned the 8 counties that we have. That is TRF, the Rotary Foundation giving. Last year was up $726,000 from everybody in our district. Year before we were about 1.13 million, and we're trying to get back to that number now. The good thing is that Polio Plus, we raised over 134,000, where the prior year we'd only done 51,000. So I'm looking for every club to contribute to Polio Plus, so hopefully we can get this done and officially get it completely knocked out. Only 4 clubs did not give the annual fund. I've got membership down for our district, down 16. I put that in yellow because those numbers are still fluctuating based on where we were July 1. I've got a couple of conflicting reports there that have us down 50 members, down 16. I went with the 16. Our member retention rate is 85%. Here's the scary part. 12% of all people that came in last year left. The even scarier part, which I don't put up here, is that almost 50% of our new members leave in the first 2 years. So that means we're not orienting them or have them come in and they understand what's going on. And so some of the exit interviews information that I've looked at has said things like, I didn't know I was going to have to pay dues. I didn't know I had to attend meetings. I didn't know I had to do service projects. So we're not cluing them in on what we should be doing. So hoping we bring in members, that they know what we do. And that's the big part of it. And we're doing some type of new member orientation where they know what's expected of them. And they come in and they are active Rotarians and they stay longer than 2 years. That's the way we're gonna be able to handle this. Okay? So here are my goals for the year, which is do better than your best. So what do I mean by that? I went back and looked at what's our best that we've done the last 5 to 7 years in the district. And so, our best year was the year we did 1.13 million going to the foundation. So I want to do 1.2 million. And I want to add 100 net new members this year. So you guys, you're sitting, I think, at 26 members, 27 members right now. And down 2, but so we got to get to 4 net new members for the year for you guys. Okay. But if we can get to that 2,800, get that number up considerably over the next 4 years, then we should be in good shape. So when it comes time around, we're not matched up with somebody from from India. We're a big enough group ourselves that we don't have to worry about what anybody else is doing. Okay. So I'm going to continue to build the bench, and where this came from, when I was on the nominating committee several years back, the first time I was on it, that was about 5 years ago, there was one person that applied to be district governor that year. And I said, this is absolutely crazy. We've got 2,400 members as Rotarians in North Texas, and there's one person applying to be district governor. And so it kind of annoyed me, and it forced me 3 years ago. I said, okay, I'm going to apply here as well. And at least, my year there were 3, but building the bench or sending these people to the emerging leader training, things like that, where they'll be down in Pflugerville this weekend, so that we are developing that bench so that more people want to apply. And this was part of Mary's plan last year too. And the nice thing is that last year, just the group that reached the nominating committee, we had 5 people that were interested in being district governor. So I expect at least that many to be applying this year as well. The boring stuff, review and revise our manual procedure. We have to do that. We haven't done that since the COVID year, but our information must match up with what RI is doing. So that way we don't do anything that violates any of our opportunity to receive grants and so forth. Our strategic plan, we also haven't done for about 3 years, so we revised that. But the other push that I'm working on this year is increasing our activities with the different youth projects. So youth exchange, I know you guys had hosted youth exchange students several years back, but haven't done one for a while. Our district governor nominee, Michael Pugh, is 2 years out. He is the past president of Rover's Youth Exchange, and so I want to start building up some more. We added some additional kids coming here. I was telling the board earlier that we do a great job here of hosting. We just don't do a good enough job of sending kids from our area out. So part of that is kids here don't want to leave the States. It's a little, it can be a little bit too easy for them, and they don't want to go visit other places around the world, surprisingly. So, but we have so many kids that want to come here from other parts of the world, but it really requires us to be sending more out. So we're going to try and increase that exposure a little bit. Ryla I mentioned, and the other thing is our Interact program. So hopefully, we can start looking at maybe adding an Interact program at Commerce High School, and it should give us some more opportunities to connect with a few more high schoolers and let them know about the world of Rotary. One other thing I didn't put up there is last year we had some increased exposure in the 4-way test, and I don't know if you guys do a 4-way test program here, a speech contest. You do? Used to? Okay. And so, we had a lot of kids that went in this last April and competed, and they received scholarship money and so forth. So maybe you guys can talk to the high school, and especially if they got a speech program there. Those kids would love it, and just we make it pretty simple. First, second, third receive a nice little scholarship from us for doing it too. So you already have a connection because you're doing scholarships for the high school. So maybe you could add them, and they could go down and I think the district meeting is always that 3rd weekend in April where they meet at Common College. And then your participation, I mentioned to your board about the 2nd Saturday of each month. You can do it in person, and it happens to be we're going to be at the East Texas A&M Center in Dallas. So we're using the 8th floor room down there. So I'm sure all of you know where that is. I would love to see you guys on the 2nd Saturday of each month. Next week will be our first one, August 8th. That program will be related to the foundation and grants, and how it's so easy to give money to the foundation, and so we'll be doing that. I mentioned Pflugerville, but the other one, the Emerald City Awards, which are all the club awards, will be starting at 6 o'clock on the 21st of August at the Drury Hotel, which is Richardson Central Expressway, right there at the Bush. So love to have some of you guys come down, and that'll be the final cap on Pastor Mary's year. So nominating committee for the new district governor, please participate in that, and then our foundation gala will be in February. Okay, so those are all the events I've got on the calendar now. There'll be more coming that we have going on, but that'll give you just a little bit of focus. But I do want you guys certainly to be a part of what we're doing, you know, from a district standpoint. I know a lot of times our clubs that are in the outlying areas always feel like, you know, things aren't included, and we just include really what's, you know, Dallas and Callahan County. But we certainly want you guys, you know, to come in and participate, and especially on the Saturday mornings, either, you know, come down to meetings there, or I mentioned Amy, you can even log in through Zoom and attend that way. They run, you know, it's a social thing till 10, and then from 10 to noon is we get down to business. And they've all been revised in the last couple of years, so you get some really good dynamic ideas for you. So, good. And then as you're recruiting, I want you to think about looking at these last two slides I sent over to you. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Thank you. You know, what you guys see here may not be what an outsider sees. So think about the perception that you're having, whether it's in here at your meetings, whether it's putting flags out. That's a great opportunity. We recruited several members in our club who now participate in our flag program, but all they were was we set flags up in front of their house before. So these are great opportunities for you. And without doing any more death by PowerPoint, I just want you guys to think about, you know, there's certain ways that we can destroy our club, and there's ways that we can revise it. And I would say be passionate about Rotary, know your why, and don't be afraid to share that information. Okay? I'll send that. So about your club, a little bit over 100 years now. So Wyman, what's it like to be charter member?
Thank you so much.
I asked, you know, I'd ask, I just joke
Professor
around.
Mayo and I
Ask Wyman.
enjoyed it.
So, looking, you guys had 96 Paul Harris fellows who come through the club. So that's pretty good participation. I think there may be 6 of you right now on Rotary Direct. So that's money going into the annual fund. It just gets drafted right here, checkbook every month, and goes to the foundation. So those are all pretty good numbers. And you're currently, like I said, 26 members. That's a good number for a small club. I would love to see you guys just increase things that you're doing with the youth activities here. You have the opportunity, and there may be some things that we do, you know, going back. You had a Rotaract club that you sponsored here. I mentioned earlier, it's one of the tough things about Rotaract clubs is when they're related to colleges, they turn over so fast. And you need that dynamic person within that club running it to keep things going. And if that's not the instructor or the sponsor from the school, then many times it will die by the wayside once that person graduates. So maybe there's something we can do there to build Rotaract back. And because RI is trying to push for adding an additional 100,000 Rotaractors as well over the next 5-6 years. So, thank you. What questions do you have for me? So, I always enjoy coming back to Commerce, and many of you I've known over the years. Keith, I was on the alumni board so long, Brock brought me on the alumni